Hello student, I am Deepak Mahale from Department of Mechanical Engineering. In today's video, I will teach the chapter Ergonomics. These are the content of this video. First is Introduction to Ergonomics. Second is Man-Machine Relationship. Third is Anthropometry. Fourth is Ergonomics Consideration. Fifth content is Control Members used in the machines. And last one is ergonomics and its fatigues. Now we will start with Introduction to Ergonomics. The word ergonomics is derived from the two Greek words. First one is ergon, means work, and second word is nomos, means natural laws. Means you can call it as ergonomics means the natural laws of work. Ergonomics is the study of man in relation to his work. Ergonomics is also called as human engineering. Ergonomics or human engineering is concerned with the man-machine relationship. Ergonomics is the process of designing or arranging a workplaces, products and system so that they fit the people who use them. People means worker or operators. In other words, ergonomics is the science of work which deals with the relationship between man and his working condition or working environment. Means fitting the proper job to the proper worker. Ergonomics focuses on human beings and their interaction with products, equipment, facilities, surrounding workplace and working condition. Working condition means its surrounding environment while doing the work. Ergonomics has two criteria to follow. First one is to improve the efficiency, reliability and productivity of the worker who is working in the organization or industry. And second criteria is to study the effect of health and safety of human beings in an organization. Bad working condition affects the productivity adversely, whereas good working condition makes the worker to take more interest in the job. Interest of workers in the job to a greater extent depends on the how comfortable and safe the workplace is. While designing a workplace, various factors need to be considered. Ergonomics consider all such factors and deals with the relationship between man and his workplace, that is working environment, so that a best possible workplace can be designed for the workers. Means we can say that ergonomic information applies to design ensure comfort, safety, etc. to the human beings due to best possible environments and design prepared. While designing a machine and equipment for human use, it is important to realize that man has limited power. Hence, the engineer or a designer should design the most suitable machines and equipments considering human health and efficiency. Most suitable workplace and most suitable machine reduce the physical and mental strain causes to the worker while carrying out the work. Then we can define ergonomics as the relationship between man and machine, equipment, facilities, workplace, occupation, etc. and the applications of anatomical, physiological and psychological principles to solve the problems arising from the man-machine relationship. Ergonomics can also be defined as a systematic study of relationship between people and their occupation, equipments and work environment for the purpose of increasing human efficiency and productivity, removing those features of design which tends to cause inefficiency or physical disability to the worker. Now we will see various disciplines in ergonomics. First one is anatomy. Anatomy is the study of body dimension and relationship for work design. Anthropometry is the information on body size, field of movement, field of view, speed of response, force extended. Next is physiology. It is the study of man and his working environment, senses, etc. Next is psychology. It is the knowledge of brains, nervous system, human behavior, mental processes, skills of human beings, etc. Next is engineering. It is the design of work system suitable for the worker to do the job in the industry. Now we will see objectives or importance of ergonomics. There are two types of objectives in ergonomics. First is primary objective. It is to improve the man behavior and overall system performance by optimizing the integration of man and machine. Next, secondary objective. Ergonomic helps to study the man-machine relationship. Means how the man is working on equipment or a machine and how he can perform the work on the machine. Second, it takes care of the factor governing the physical and mental strains so that to obtain maximum satisfaction for the worker, which enhance productivity at the same time. Next, it attempts to minimize the work of injury, illness, accident and errors without compromising productivity. Next, to improve the design of machine at the initial design stage or later during the modification of an existing product. Next, ergonomics reduces the physical and mental stresses, thereby improving the quality of the life. Means the worker life will be improved by improving the working environment for the worker. Next, reliability, safety, etc. can be improved on the low cost effective basis. These are the objectives of ergonomics. Now we will see use of ergonomics to increase productivity. As we see that ergonomics is concerned with the man and his working condition, there are 7 types. First one is improve the working condition. Ergonomics provides improved and optimum working condition so as to increase the energy, capability and skill of the workers into constructive and productive work. Next, improve the behavior and increase the morale of the worker. Ergonomics aims to improve the behavior and to increase the morale of the man during working by the most suitable use of his physical characteristics along with the psychological and physiological capabilities. Next, optimization of man-machine interface. Ergonomics is concerned with the optimizing the overall and detailed design of controls, operations and maintenance interface between man and machines in both working condition, that is normal and emergency. Next, integration of maintenance with workplace. Man and machine interact simultaneously with the workplace and surrounding environment, which improves the efficiency and reliability of the work. Next, optimum design of machine and equipment facilities. The machine equipments, facilities, etc. are designed by the considering human health, capability and efficiency, which provides comfort and safety to the workers and operators. Next, effective plant utilization. Ergonomics helps to increase the effective plant utilization, which also increase the productivity. And last one is fatigue reduction. Ergonomics reduces the physical and mental strain or fatigue to the employees. By means, the productivity of the organization can be increased. These are the uses of ergonomics to increase the productivity of the organization. Now we will see man-machine relationship in ergonomics. Man-machine system or relationship can be defined as a combination of one or more human beings and one or more physical components interacting to bring out some desired output from the given input. In ergonomics, consider man-machine system as a joint system to perform combination of activities to obtain desired output from the given input. Man-machine system consists of any type of physical object, device, equipment, facility and activities performed by the man. Machine itself has a separate identity in a machine design. However, it cannot be performed well without man. Therefore, man-machine relationship is more important for the organization. In the figure, you can see that you can see that man-machine system is a closed-loop system. From the display instrument, operator gets information about the operations of the machines. If he feels that a correction is necessary, he will operate the lever or controls manually. After doing corrections, he can observe the change in the performance of the machine, which will be indicated on the display panel. Contact between the man and machine in this closed loop system arises at two places. First is display instrument, which gives information to the operator, and controls with which the operator adjusts the machine. Environmental factors will also have an influence on the working of the system. The working efficiency of the man depends upon the several factors. In that, first is environmental conditions surrounding the workplace, own characteristics of man such as age, motivation, trainings, experience, etc. Information feedback is continuously provided by the machine. Corrective control measured provided by the man are accepted by the machine. Means we can see that a total man-machine relationship is a closed loop system. Now we will see anthropometry. Anthropometry can be defined as the branch of ergonomics which deals with the shape and size of body. It deals with the study of measurement of physical features and function of the human body, including linear movements, weight, height, volume, range of movements, etc. It can be also defined as the scientific study of measurements and proportion of the human body, which involves the systematic measurement of dimensional description of the size and shape of the human body. Almost all the time during the day, we use one or other physical facilities like chains, tables, desk, bench, machines, bicycles, cars, household equipments, etc. It is well known that the comfort and performance of the people is influenced by the extent to which these facilities fit to the people. When a physical facility is not designed as per the dimension of the user, then it leads to discomfort of user. For example, discomfort experienced by the most of the people when boarding a bus with highly raised platform and narrow gates. Another example is discomfort experienced by the user when wearing tight clothes. Also, when a physical facility is not designed as per the dimensions of the user, then the safety or welfare will be in danger. Today's anthropometry plays an important role in industrial design, clothing design, ergonomics and architecture, where statistical data about the distribution of the body dimension in the population are used to optimize the products. There are two types of body measurements. First is static dimension and second one is dynamic dimension. The static dimension is also called as structural dimension. In these dimensions includes height, arm length and shoulder length, etc. In structural dimensions might represent a person rich when his or her shoulders and trunk are stationary. The measurements of different body features are obtained for various groups of people because body measurement vary as a function of age, sex and for different countries. There are differences in the anthropometric of male and female. This is for the static dimension or structural dimension. Now we will see dynamic dimension, or you can call it as functional dimension. In dynamic dimension, these are the measurements carried out under the conditions in which the body is engaged in some physical activity, means body is in motion for doing some work. In many cases, structural dimensions may be adopted to a specific problems. However, dynamic dimensions, on the other hand, better representation of reality. While using the available anthropometric data for designing physical equipments and facilities, the designer must be careful in selecting the anthropometric data. This is all for anthropometry. Now we will see control members or devices or equipment used in machine. Controls are the devices through which man conveys the instruction to the machine. In other words, we can say that a control device is used to transmit information to some machines or system. Control provided a method for workers to change the status and operations of the machine. There are 7 numbers of standard controls which are used for machine in an industry. Depending upon the nature and type of information desired to be transmitted, different types of control devices are available which perform the related functions. Now we will see one by one. First is hand levers. Hand levers gives a quick control action and can accommodate large forces. They are suitable for on off or set up set down type of operations. They are not suitable for fine adjustment. Next is hand wheels. Hand wheels are used for precise activity involving large angles of rotations. They can provide good accuracy of adjustment. They provide controlling torque via both hands and they are used for heavy loads. Next is foot pedals. Foot pedals are used for fast action control with minimum or heavy loading capacity. They lack in accuracy and range which may be obtained with the hand control. These are used in sitting position. For example, trucks or cars uses brake pedal. Next is cranks. Cranks are used when rotation through 360 degree is needed. They are intended to provide torque via one hand. Smaller cranks are used for the fast control. Next is knobs. Size of knobs depends mainly on resistance to motion. Generally, circular shape is used for the knobs. Rotating knobs are recommended for the light loading control with either fingers or with the whole hand. Rotating knobs are accommodated for light loading control with either fingers or with the hand. Knobs are also used in instrument control panels. Next is push button. Push buttons are normally designed for operation by one finger. They are essentially used as a light load on or off controls. For example, our electricity bulb buttons. And last one is joystick. This is a type of hand control which is now excessively used in computer applications including CNC machines. Figure shows the most commonly used control in industrial applications such as foot pedal in machines, commercial applications such as crank used to open or close the large size shutters, and domestic applications such as speed regulator of the fan, lighting or power on and off. Now we will see role of ergonomics in the design of displays. Displays are devices through which the man receives the information from the machine. A good display device is one which allows proper combination of speed, accuracy and sensitivity of the display. Display are necessary extension to the man's senses and provide both primary and supplementary information needed by the operators in operating the machine or making the decision to control the responses of the machine. There are two types of display. First is visual display and second is auditory displays. In visual display, depending upon the type of information provided by the visual display, they can be further classified into two subgroups: qualitative display and quantitative display. For qualitative display, example is red, yellow and green lights uses as a traffic signal, on-off indicators of the home appliances, etc. And for quantitative display, examples are voltmeter, ammeter, speedometer, watches, energy meters. In auditory display, as compared to visual display, auditory display can make monitoring performance superior. Therefore, these devices are suitable as warning devices. Following are the sum of the situation in which auditory displays are more suitable. First one is when the message is simple and short, when the message calls for immediate attention, when the receiver moves from one place to another place, when continuously changing information of some types of. Now we will see ergonomics and fatigue. Fatigue is the state of worker by which capacity and willingness for doing the work is reduced. It is the negative drive state corresponding to the need of rest. Fatigue leads to determination of mental and physical health of the worker and ultimately reduction in the efficiency of the worker. Now we will see types of fatigue. There are two types of fatigue mainly: physical fatigue, also called as muscular fatigue; mental fatigue, also called as psychological fatigue. In physical or muscular fatigue is described capacity of the muscles which follows a continue or repeated contraction. Fatigue may result from deficiency of oxygen or accumulation of carbon dioxide. In the symptoms of physical fatigues are feeling of tiredness, loss of physical efficiency and capacity, and desire to rest, etc. In mental or psychological fatigue, it describes as a desire to have a change due to repetitive work. It is state of mind caused by constant repetitive type of work. The repetitive work destroys human value like pride in workmanship and individuality. Burden is the mental fatigue due to routine task. It is the mental condition caused due to negative attitude and lack of interest in the job. The worker do not like to do the work. Both monetary and burden are caused by mental condition. Now we will see causes and reduction of fatigue. The purpose of fatigue study is to reduce the influence in decreasing production and unpleasant feeling. As all types of work involves fatigue, therefore total elimination is impossible. However, efforts taken to reduce the fatigue can be minimized to great extent. In that, first point is long hours of work. It has been established that average hourly output varies with the length of working day. Long hours of work increases the fatigue to the worker. Experiments have shown that hourly output reaches maximum value at almost 7 hours a day or 40 hours a week. However, there may be little variation depending upon the type of work the operator is done. Means if the operator is working in an IT company, they can be work for more hours, and if the operator is working at some place of furnace or a hazardous working condition, the working hours should be minimized. Next, absence of rest pauses. Fatigue is caused due to the working for long time continuously without taking rest. However, providing properly timed period of the rest helps to reduce the fatigue. Too long rest pauses disadvantageous because loss of warning will occur when workers remains away from the work for a long time. Research in this regards has shown that 5 minutes rest pause after every 80 minutes work is most desirable. Improper working condition. Efficiency of the worker is also affected by the temperature, humidity and ventilation. Too hot or too cold temperature and humidity affects the health and comfort of the worker badly, and it transforms into the less efficiency of the worker. Fatigue can also be reduced by improving the ventilation so that polluted air is eliminated and fresh air is admitted into the factory to improve the efficiency of the worker. Next, improper working method. Inefficient working method, bad arrangement of machines and tools are responsible for waste of effort and the increased fatigue on the part of the operator. Bad design arrangement of the machines will also involve unnecessary movement of the body parts of the operator causing fatigue. In order to reduce the fatigue, following means are suggested. Select the best method on the basis of method study as we seen in the previous videos. Next, use properly designed machine means arrange the machines and tools systematically. How to arrange that machine systematically? We have to do the method study and work measurement technique. From that, we can arrange the machines and tools systematically. Next is improper illumination. Improper and inadequate illumination causes heavy strain on the eyes of workers and thus result unnecessary fatigue. For this, it is necessary to have proper direction of light and proper intensity. Next is excessive noise. Excessive noise at the workplace adversely affect output of the worker. As far possible, noise and vibrations should be minimized. Next is unhealthy working condition. Fatigue is intimately connected with the health. If the occupational conditions are such that they do not promote good health and they are also conducive to fatigue. As far as possible, healthy working conditions should be maintained in the workplace where the workers are doing the work to avoid the resulting fatigue. Absence of adequate seat. If a proper sitting arrangement is not provided to the worker will not do their job properly with proper efficiency. Alternate sitting and standing arrangement may also be helpful to reduce the fatigue of the worker. Next is low morals. Conditions which are conducive to low moral are also conducive to fatigue. High moral can help to reduce the fatigue amongst the worker. Last one is employer-employee relationship. This is the most important point for reducing the fatigue of the worker. A worker cannot maintain high moral in the condition in which the relationship between employer and employee or between the employees themselves is not good. In such conditions, the worker feels depressed and exhausted very quickly. The worker enthusiasm can be easily maintained and fatigue kept low if good relationship and sense of cooperation exist between employer and employee and between the employee themselves. These are the causes and reduction of the fatigues. This is all for this ergonomics chapter. If you like this video, you press the like button and subscribe my channel for more videos like this. Thank you.